Hello everybody, welcome back to the shop, or well, to the garage outside. Got myself another hole in the head. It's a gasoline case 530. Picked it up for a pretty good deal. Local, just 10 minutes down the road. It's a one-owner machine, believe it or not. I believe it's a 1965. The guy's grandpa bought it brand new, and now here I am, the second owner. And incidentally enough, small world we live in, the guy who sold this to me used to own my truck. Small world, huh? Anyway, pretty decent machine it seems like. Like I said, it's gasoline and it seems to run pretty good. Brakes are okay. There's plenty of leaks. This packing there, the rod packing, is a little weepy, and there's something I think on a swing cylinder that has been marking its territory. But for $1,000, I think it's pretty good. The guy thought it had a hydraulic problem, like a pump problem or a relief valve or something. But we believe, as it turns out, he was pouring hydraulic fluid into the what would be the hydraulic section between the transmission and rear end. Like if you had a farm tractor, that would be the hydraulic section in the middle. This tractor doesn't have that, being a backhoe, and the framework for the loader is the reservoir. So we filled that up. The hydraulics seemed to work pretty good. I'm going to unload this off the trailer and play around with it a little bit. Tires are not the best, but they hold air. None of them are flat or mushy or anything. For all I know, they might even be original. They do seem pretty old, but they're good. Fronts, of course, have been replaced with some pickup truck tires or whatever. It's got power steering. It's got race car steering. Check it out. It's got a aftermarket seat. I'm gonna upgrade that. That'll be one of the first things. I believe the digging depth on this, I looked it up, is 14 feet. Pretty big bucket. It's got a couple, you can see daylight here and there, but that's not a problem for me. I'll talk about welding it up. I never will. Never going to wear out on me. Got some slop in there, but this is definitely a sight better. Oh, look at that. This has been repaired. Broke that off and re-welded it. Anyway, this is a sight better than the old Massey 202, the hell is it, work bull tractor, I think. Man, more leaks every cylinder, it seems. It's definitely been used for throughout its life. Got some homemade tire chains. Not too bad. Leave those on there. Clutch machine. Seems to have a forward reverse, a transmission, gear selector, and a high and low. And that's that. It'll, definitely need some love, but I like it. It's got a trailer mover on it. I'm going to get rid of that. Not going to help me at all. So let's get it off the trailer and play around with it. Well, it wouldn't start. I tried jumping it. Wouldn't start, or wouldn't even crank. So I started looking through this abortion of farmer fix wiring. I found this. Imagine that has something to do with something. So I'm going to try the old farmer key, good old screwdriver. Okay, jumper cables are on. Got our key, and let's see what happens. Oh, and of course, if you're new to this sort of stuff, if you're starting it this way, make sure it's out of gear, and when you're sure it's out of gear, make sure it's out of gear again. Well, even with ether it wouldn't pop, and I found that it wasn't getting power to the coil for some reason. And rather than try to figure out that wiring, which was pretty well, you know, farmer fixed and finger fucked, did a aftermarket wiring delete. I'm just going to run a wire right to the coil, and then later I'll rewire it into the switch, which is how it was before. And the guy that did it, you know, he knew what wire was what. I've got no idea. I don't really feel like figuring out because the wiring is so bad. I'll just make my own wiring later. Got some signs of life. Well, we got it. I don't know if I was doing something wrong or if the transmission seemed a little funky. It wasn't really moving in first gear. That's unfortunate. So I'm going to play around with it and go from there. Well, here it sits for now. It had to break my balls and not want to run well, and eventually wouldn't start at all. So who the hell knows what's wrong with that. I'm annoyed but not too concerned because it did run for like an hour at the guy's place and drove up my trailer no problem. But who knows? I mean, there's definitely some issues. Like I showed you, I ripped all the junk wiring out, and the solenoid's no good. The battery is I don't know, hopefully it just needs a good charge. It's not that old, but you know, it just hasn't been used. So we'll see. But at any rate, I'm gonna just kind of go through it. I ended up also bypassing the ignition switch. I just used this hot wire. And the ballast resistor here wasn't hooked up anyway, I don't think. Maybe this is an internal resistor, who the hell knows. But anyway, I just had to push it into place. I wanted to play with it a bit, of course. But that's where we are now. The carburetor leaks a shitload of gas, so of course it needs a rebuild. If you open that fuel valve, wait a couple seconds, starts pouring out the intake. But other than that, let's see. We got one cylinder here that's a real gusher. The rod seal is shot there. The other side, let's see, that's a little wet. Doesn't seem to be as bad. There's some wetness there, but that's not too bad. This oil here is from, this is where we filled it. I think it might have just blown out of this breather or something. That's where this oil came from. Valve seems fairly dry. This outrigger is a little moist. The other one is quite bad, and that line has been massaged a bit. I'm just going to replace that with a hose. No point in trying to bend that back. For the hose cylinders, I think are pretty good. You know, this is a little wet, of course, but you know, this one gets a lot of use. The chrome is actually in pretty good shape, even all the way down here where it's in dirt and rock and it can get scratched up. That's really not too bad. Oh yeah, and this catastrophe here, there is definitely just a leaky fitting there. That's an O-ring boss fitting, so it just needs an O-ring. And there's some other moisture going on up in there somewhere. So I just gotta power wash it to figure that sort of shit out. It's just such a mess. The transmission was a little odd. It only seemed to want to be in third gear. It clicks into first and second kind of weird. The shifter, like, it wants to rotate as well as just go up and down. See there, you know, there's neutral. It's weird going from the side, but anyway, some issues there. Might require a loving touch. I'm gonna take the battery off, charge it, take the carburetor off, go through that, rebuild it, and then eventually go through this wiring. This is how the old man had it set up. I guess the key switch went bad. Rather than replace the key switch, just put some toggles there. So there's a momentary for starting and then ignition on and off. It must have gotten jostled on the way home and dislodged some wires that were making it run, which is why I assume it's not working anymore. But we will see. I was hoping to play with it today. Unfortunately, I can't. But what can you do? Hopefully this will be a decent, reliable machine. Definitely needs some exhaust work too. I am past the point of liking loud stuff. There you go, everybody. Finally a equipment and gearhead related video for once. For the past few months I've been looking at my videos. They're all homesteading stuff. I'm planting fruit trees and getting ready for honeybees and maple syrup and waiting for the world to collapse. In some cases, maybe that wouldn't be too bad. It would be tough living, but I don't know. We'll see. So make sure to hit the thumbs up if you enjoyed this, and hit the subscribe button over there. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.